All you masters of the leaderboards out there, welcome back to the Indy Radio Arcade. And you know, one thing I also wish for in that game was a Buried Alive match, because they did have plenty of those back in the day, but for some strange reason, never really added those in until the later installments of the SmackDown series. Kind of a shame, really is. Oh, and Maestro said, why not have a tag team Buried Alive match? Cause they only did that once, and the last time I remembered one of those things, Mick Foley got thrown from the stage into an open grave. Ouch! Ouch! But besides painful wrestling moments for Mick Foley, folks, I think it's time for us to put your indie games on high display along with some high scores along the way for another edition of the Indie Wall of Fame. And the first game that we have up comes from the developers G-Brosoft with their game Outliver Tribulation. And this game with the title alone automatically reminds me of a sci-fi original film with a little hint of fear in there as well. Actually, a big hint of fear because it's a soldier that got trapped in an ancient ritual. So yeah, definitely reminds me of fear. And here's hoping in the near future for this game that you get some form of powers from that ritual if you're able to stop it. You know, some form of evil powers to help you out further along in the game, because I got a feeling it's gonna take a lot more than an assault rifle to kill that giant oversized Markland beast I saw next to that temple. You're not fooling me with that. You're gonna need more than bullets to kill it. Unless he's got a rocket. Does he have a rocket, Maestro? No? Yeah, powers. He needs powers. And besides having some form of powers to take on evil creatures that are a part of an evil ritual that'll kill us all, the next game that we have up comes from the developers Baba Dogia with their game Super Solar. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of not only Diablo with a little hint of the game Descent. And no, Maestro, not the movie The Descent. There was actually an old PS1 game where you had to fly this spaceship out of this, I guess, some form of factory. And this reminds me of the same concept. And here's hoping in the near future for this game that you get a chance to actually customize your ship, which Maestro says you can, and even get a chance to have a rail cannon. And according to the Maestro, you can have one of those too. Oh, nice. Well, here's hoping you can also have a drone to follow you around to help you out in your space-like battles, just in case you get overwhelmed with enemies. Either that or one of those pulsar grenades that you can use to take out all the enemies around you. Now, Maestro said he's not sure about the drone, but the pulsar grenade is a thing. Right. Okay then. Not bad. And the next game that we have up, speaking of pulsar-like attacks, folks, comes from the developers John Busey and Tim Kempis with their game Ricky Recharge. And the name alone automatically reminds me of a Saturday morning cartoon that needs to happen nowadays, with a little hint of not only Static Shock, but Infamous as well if it was a side-scrolling adventure. And this game, here's hoping in the near future, besides getting the opportunity to have different forms of powers of electricity, they also allow you to tag team up with a friend to help you take on whatever sort of creatures that are lurking in the distance. And if you can't team up with anybody, here's hoping that you can use, just like Static Shock did, a trash can lid to fly around on. And according to the Maestro, it wasn't a trash can lid, it was a manhole cover. Really? always thought it was a trash can lid. But either way, hoping for either one of those things to be in it. And the next game that we have up comes from the developers Sea Green Games with their game Transmission. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of not only jalopy, but a little hint of, well, I guess Grand Theft Auto Vice City with a splash in there of Drive. Yeah, especially the fact that this has a real 1980s feel to it, definitely reminds me of that. And here's hoping in the near future that this game has some form of 80s music to go along with its 80s theme. And even a chance for you to ride in different cars besides this car that they have listed here, which looks like a Pinto for some strange reason. Is it a Pinto, Maestro? Apparently not. But here's hoping you can ride in an upgraded version of the said car in the near future. And the next game that we have up, and the last but not least game we have up for this week, speaking of the future folks, comes from the developers Xeno Gaming with their game Xeno Time Inception. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of Doom with a little hint of Perfect Dark and Rage in there as well. And here's hoping in the near future for this game that they have an interdimensional gun that you get a chance to use during this said game. The only thing I hope for in the near future, that and the black hole grenades you had a chance to use in Perfect Dark. Because not many games have it, and I got a feeling this game can pull it off wonderfully, if that's even a word. And besides vocabulary words that may or may not be in a dictionary, folks, it's now time for us to go into the high scores for this week from the Twitter page of High Score. And the first high score we have up comes from Omar Gettin with his high score of 429,200 during the classic Atari game of Keystone Capers. Nice name for the game, too. And the next high score that we have up, once again comes from Omar Gettin with his high score of 70,050 during the classic SNES game of Captain Commando. What is up with these games that has the same letter for the one that starts? What, Keystone Caper and Captain Commando? Wonder if this is gonna start to be a trend. Anyway, next game that we have up, or high score, comes from the video gamer Burger... Oh wait, Maestro said it's not from Burger Time Party, that's the name of the game, but the high scoring champion is none other than Duggar Video Games with his high score of 222,600 during the classic game of Burger Time Party for the Nintendo Switch. Never heard of it. Anyway, next high score we have up comes from Frankie with his high score of 76,600, a part of the Game Boy Advance game of Kid Nicky, which for some strange reason at this angle looks like Tetris. Alright. Anyway, folks, next high score we have up after that comes from, once again, Omar Gettin with his high score of 534,814, a part of the classic SNES game of Contra 3, The Alien Wars. And by the way, when are they going to make a Contra movie that will most likely star Sylvester Stallone? I don't know why, but I got a feeling he can play that soldier, but maybe somebody else. I was about to say Ricky Gervais, but no, Gerard Butler. Yeah, have him in the movie too. But besides concept movies from video games, folks, the next high score we have up once again comes from Omar getting with his high score of 1,353,500, a part of the Nintendo game of Super Street Fighter 2, the new challenger. Next high score we have up after that comes from G Tipple with his high score of 1,255,200 during the Commodore 64 game of Psycho Pigs, UXB. That sounds like a cool movie idea too. Write that down, Maestro. We're gonna get some movie ideas on this show for the next couple of weeks. And besides movie concepts that are most likely going to drive the Maestro insane in the near future, the next high score that we have up comes from Larquay with his high score of 46,000, nay strike that, 49,630, a part of the PSP game of Metal Slug Anthology, Metal Slug X. Really need to play that game. I've heard of it, but never played it before. Need to get my hands on it. And to wrap up the high scores for this week, folks, and a guy who seemed to clean the house on the high scoring boards for this week is none other than Omar Den with his high score of 2,800,300, a part of the SNES game of Super Chase HQ. And yeah, my God, how many high scores did Omar Den have this week? What, 4, 5? My God, it's ridiculous. And if you guys want to go ahead and check out any other high scores that are currently making their way through the Twitterverse as we speak, you can head on over to the Twitter page of one man only known as @HighScore, or even head on over to the high scoring website of highscore.com to win cool prizes for your high scores. And like we say during all the parts of the show that includes high scores, it's a fair trade. And this week's high score that I got a feeling will last until the end of the month comes from Omar Den with his high score of 2,800,300, a part of the SNES game of Super Chase HQ. And if you guys also want to go ahead and check out any other cool games that are currently making their way through the Steam machine via the cargo ship, cargo plane, or even subterranean train that is currently rumbling underneath your toes, you can head on over to the store.steampower page, only known as store.steampower.com, and click ever so lightly on that Indy button, as well as clicking on that upcoming page along with it, to check out a whole bunch of games that are going to be so impactful, it's going to feel like you took a Macho Man Randy Savage elbow drop from the top rope for the Macho Man to win the Intercontinental Championship for the 4th time. Ooh, yeah! And apparently, according to the Maestro, Macho Man didn't win the Intercontinental Championship that much, but in my mind, he did. For this part of the show, he did. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well head back into the music once again, and when we return, we'll be back with this week's $64,000 question right after a word from our sponsors. So don't skip out on that bonus round just yet, folks, and stay tuned.